from Boston and beyond. Heat981fm.com and IR Station.
Tonight's episode of Conversations with Coach La is brought to you by Virtual Services by Shamina Austin. Do you need to delegate some tasks, or are you looking to declutter a space? Well, assign it to her. Introducing Virtual Services by Shamina Austin. She's currently accepting new clients and offers a variety of back office services depending on your needs. Contact Shamina at 857-273-1528, 857-273-1528, or email shaminaaustin@gmail.com for more information.
Conversations with Coach La.
Coach La, your favorite neighborhood therapist, having real hard convos, contrasting pessimists, generational trauma explored, broach delicate, getting to the root of the pain, healing impediments. Every week signs copay, free lessons. Bet on self, trust the process, no questions. Feel your feels, journey to be healed, no stressing. Conversations with Coach La's now in session.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Coach La. How y'all doing? Let me tell you, it is 8 degrees and it feels like 2 out here in Boston, Massachusetts, in Hyde Park. It is extremely, extremely cold. I am not a winter person, but what can we do? It's one of the seasons. So I want to give a big shout out right now to Miss Angelina Hightower. Shout out to my songbird. Yesterday she did her double nickel party at Florian Hall, and we partied with a purpose and raised over $6,000 for lupus, the Lupus Foundation. So shout out to Miss Angelina Hightower, and for a successful event. It was beautiful. Ray Royale, Angela Elizabeth. I mean, it was just a great day. Naheem Garcia, I mean, you just couldn't have been any better. Posh Group did their thing. It was inspired by Breakfast at Tiffany's. Everybody had to wear all black. I mean, it was just elegant, just chef's kiss. Shonda, shout out to Chef Shonda. Her and her team did a wonderful job with the food. The decorations were on point. D-Rock did his thing on the ones and twos. I also saw DJ Eclipse out there on the ones and twos too. So shout out to the Urban Heat family that was doing their thing. So it was a beautiful, beautiful event. And on top of that, today I got a chance to spend some time with Dr. Rebecca Dupas. Shout out to her. She is doing this wonderful workshop called How to Slay a Dragon, which is based on her viral poem. And I was blessed to ask to audit the workshop. So we are in week 2, and I tell you the information and the vulnerability of the participants. It's about 20 people in this group, and they just really have done a wonderful job of sharing their negative self-talk and the things that sort of get in the way of them being able to fulfill their purpose. So shout out to Rebecca on putting together this awesome workshop. I'm truly enjoying the experience. Last but not least, shout out to my New England Patriots, y'all. I just looked at the score. Y'all got me sad now. This is not looking good, 29-7. So shout out to everybody that's at a Super Bowl party. Today I was with my family, and I was hoping we was going to be winning by the time I got to the studio. I was hoping it wasn't going to look like this. But anyway, can't win them all. I know we still got, according to this, but 3 minutes, 41 seconds. I don't know if we can do much to turn this around. So anyway, sorry guys, I'm not happy about this, but tonight's show makes me happy because I have an awesome guest that's going to be joining me on the virtual couch. And you know how you meet people and their spirit is just so invigorating, and it just is warming, and it just makes you want to ask them who they are and what they do. Well, this was her. She was just a ball of sunshine and good energy, and we kicked it off, So I come to find out, she was actually the creative mind behind all the steps for Mr. Teddy Riley. So you guys know we do the Urban Escape on the Cape. This is the second year we've done it, and this year we were blessed to have Teddy Riley. Excuse me, guys. We were blessed to have Teddy Riley and Guy 2.0, and what an experience it was. And I had an opportunity to meet this wonderful, beautiful sister. And so let me tell you about her, right? First, her name is Hillary Marie, and she's a professional dancer and an international choreographer from Hollandale. I hope I said that right, Mississippi. Yep, she's a country girl, y'all. With early on in her life, she was also raised in Detroit, Michigan. Starting her career at the age of 18, she is now 25. So one of the reasons why I'm excited about having her on the show, because I'm always having OGs, right? A lot of OGs, aunties, uncles be coming on the show, but this is going to give us some young, vibrant energy, right? And she's living out her dreams, and I love seeing my young sisters doing what they love early in life. Because often you get strayed away from doing what you love to go do something that's, more what people think is going to make you money. And, they'll try to stray you away from the arts, but not Miss Hillary Marie. So now she's coming up on her 8-year anniversary. So this girl's been doing her thing for a while, right? She has worked and toured with some legends. So let me name a few of them, because I know you're going to recognize some of these. If you recognize these names, I need you to put it in the chat and give us some claps and some high fives. So first up, Snoop Dogg, Lil Kim. I told y'all Teddy Riley already, and Guy, Nivea, Bobby Valentino, Lloyd, and many more. So I'm like, okay, girl. And I got a little video I'm going to play before I bring her on here, right? But her motto is, if you can see it mentally, you can believe it physically. So it sounds like my whole bet on self thing that I be telling y'all about every week. So let me just set this up, because I got to make sure I get this right, because I want y'all to see this video. I think I saw it in my advertisement, but there's a couple things I got to do for all y'all that are tuned in on YouTube, iHeartRadio. Y'all just give me a second, because I got to just take something off the screen real quick, but so that y'all can see the video. But yes, this is going to one of my favorite pieces that she's put together. But okay, what am I doing here? Good Lord Jesus, help me. And that song in the background is my Mr. Ray Royale, who is going to be doing his album release party this month. Y'all need to make sure y'all get tickets at the City Winery. It's at a low ticket warning as we speak, because you got to go to her Instagram page, y'all, and there's a bunch of pieces that she has done. So without further ado, let me bring to the stage, to the virtual couch, Miss Hillary Marie. What's up, girl?
Hello, live.
Hello. You look good, girl.
Thank you. So do you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So you've been traveling the globe, sister.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, you a busy bee. You are hard to one to keep up with, lady. I've been stalking her like I'm trying to date her. I've been texting her and calling her. I'm like, okay, she's gonna get back to me in a minute.
Yes,
she's gonna get back to me in a minute. So Miss Hillary, right? I ask everybody when they come on the show, who are you outside of what people can go Google? What would people be surprised to know about you? For the listeners that are getting to know you for the first time, tell us something that somebody don't know. Tell us something juicy, something interesting.
I think me, outside of dance, I'm a very shy person up front, unless I'm in a moment of socializing. But I get very shy. Like, people, because they know what I do, they're like, they try to put me on spot all the time to dance and all that stuff, and I just get really, really shy.
Why am I not surprised by that?
Yeah,
what's your sign? What's your
Aries.
You're Aries?
I'm an Aries.
So you're a fire sign, like Miss Dr. Rebecca DuPont. She said that too, that usually she's social, but sort of still kind of,
Yeah, it's
I call you a socially introvert.
Yes. Yes. And yes,
Yes, yes.
exactly. So, I think that is something people would be very surprised to find out is I'm actually very shy when it comes to a lot of stuff. I'm a homebody. Outside of traveling, I really, really do love to just be at home, relax. I think self-care is so important. And, when you're in the field that I'm in, you're always on the go constantly, and it gets to a point where you feel burnt out, and being burnt out is just not a good feeling whatsoever. I've been in that feeling before, and it has taught me so many things of what I do not want to ever feel again. So, ever since that moment, I've been prioritizing um, self-care, and so I like to relax. I like to be at home. I like to eat. I like going to the gym. Yeah, I'm just a good time, but an intimate good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just
Uh-huh.
be with self, comfort, peace. I love peace.
I am glad that you mentioned getting burnt out because you are busy.
Yeah.
Like not in the like a busy unproductive way, but
Right.
you are in different states. You tour,
Yeah.
you choreograph pieces, you teach workshops. I
Yeah.
mean, you do a lot for 25, right?
Thank
And I love watching it.
um,
Um, and you're very creative. You have your own style. I noticed you got a couple of like signature little moves. You do this little cat little thing you do with, and you catch your little thing down there. I peeped that. I was like, that's a Hillary move right there.
Oh my
It's a little,
god.
you got this little that you do.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen.
Yes.
You're not the
I
first
was like,
person
I
to
was
tell me.
like,
Thank you.
no. I was like, you know it's a Hillary piece. If it don't have that, it probably
Yeah,
ain't you.
you
But you
gotta
gonna
have
throw
some
that
type
in there somewhere, and you're gonna be on the floor. There's
of
gonna be some floor action, right?
yeah.
But people don't know this little shameless plug. So I was a cheerleader,
Yes.
and shout out to my coach Josie, but she loved fan click kicks and floor
Yeah.
work too.
Yeah.
I miss those days. I feel like as I'm slimming down, it's
Yes,
coming
queen.
back,
Yes, queen.
coming back because
Yes.
you got to be able to be in shape to do all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I was watching you. I was like, yes, I remember those days. The fan kick and the
And some Coach La, I started as a cheerleader when I was younger. So I cheered before I danced. And that I feel like, helped me with how I dance now. I think that's where my muscle and my power comes from, is from that background with cheer. I started cheering in kindergarten all the way up until my junior year of high school. So
okay.
I
I
cheered.
can see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely can see
Yes.
the
Shout out to the cheer
cheerleading in you.
girlie. Yes.
Yeah. It has a lot of what you see the basketball teams and the football teams in terms of how you set up your choreography.
Yeah.
It has that. It gives you jazz hands,
Okay.
band,
Yes.
all of that. So yeah, I like your stuff. I like watching it, and then I'm like, I wish I could do that. I could probably
Thank you so
let me
much.
let me try to do that. Don't watch me though. I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching.
You can do it, girl. You can do it.
I know with practice I can. I
Yeah.
know you can do whatever you set your mind to.
Okay.
But that's what tonight's show is about, right? It's
Yeah.
like tonight we're talking about confidence as a practice and not as a personality trait. A lot of times people feel like this is stuff we're born with. And I remember you reading something, you correct me if I'm wrong, that you couldn't always dance the way you dance now.
Right. 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 Right.
Right. And so this is something that has evolved where you've gotten better over time. So,
Absolutely.
like, talk to me about that process and how you built your confidence over time. And then I'm gonna interweave some stuff too, but just talk to the people who are like, yeah, I want to dance, but I'm really maybe not the best yet, but I'm okay. But
Yeah.
you're a professional dancer now, which a
Yeah.
lot of people aspire to do that.
Yeah. I think for me, starting out was very hard. I never took a dance class ever. Like I said, I was always a cheerleader. So if cheer and dance are two completely different worlds. So that transition from cheering to dance was a humongous, humongous jump for me. Um, I think, what made me become who I am today is the trial and errors that I went through. I went through a lot of doubt. I went through a lot of people saying things, to me, just off the strength of they were wondering how come my classes were doing so well and I just came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to figure out the anointing, but you can't figure out God's anointing. You can't do that. It's not your business.
Talk about it.
So, I went through a lot of trial and error that I think has put tough skin on me, and it has made me want to go harder. It has made me want to not prove something to anybody else, but prove something to myself that I can overcome anything the devil tries to put in my way. When I was growing up, I grew up with all brothers, and they were always in the sports. Dance is an art, right? So two completely different worlds when it comes to that. But just watching them and their strength, my brother Teddy, he played baseball his entire career. Being around how he handles things and seeing his hard work and dedication, it inspired me to be hardworking and dedicated to what I put my mind to as well. And I think now, training and working hard and staying consistent, staying persistent, staying hungry. A lot of people get into this field of dance and they think that they're ready for what they see everyone else doing on social media until you're actually in it. And then you realize you may be physically strong to handle this, but you're not mentally strong to handle this. It's 80% mental, 20% physical. And I always tell people that, because you can get in a room, in a space where it's where you've been wanting to be at for so long, and then you don't know how to handle the pressure that comes with it, which is why it's so important to not rush the process. You cannot rush greatness. So, I think my evolution to who I am now, and I like to say I don't even believe I'm in my prime yet. I feel
not at 25.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just getting started.
I would hope not. Listen, I don't know how old Paula Abdul was when she was working with Janet Jackson, but I think she was much older than 25.
Yeah.
And what's the other lady that was working with Sean Combs? She's a choreographer too. I forgot her.
Lorianne Gibson.
Huh?
Lorianne Gibson.
Yes, Lorianne Gibson. Yep. She's another gal one, and I also think she's older than 25.
Yes. So like, I think that moment, just trial and errors. I always say experience is the best teacher. And some people will be mad at the things that they may have went through, coming up in their career, but I'm grateful for it. If I would have never went through the things that I went through, in so many ways, that was God preparing me for who he has called me to be today in this moment. So
yeah, as you set me up so nicely for my segue, right?
Okay.
Because to bet on self, right, is to believe,
right,
to have the ability to embody, right? Absolutely. And also to be transformative. And I think what I love about dance, and what I've always loved about dance, is that it's both an art and a science. Absolutely. And I love that you brought in there that, yes, it's physical, but it's also mental.
Always.
I think it was Joe Budden's podcast, and I had posted it on my Instagram page, about most artists don't crash and burn because they're not good. It's the mental stamina of being able to accept the rejection, the no's, and when you're not popping.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. When it gets quiet and no one's checking for you.
Yeah.
And not knowing what to do in those moments, right? It's all great when all the lights are on you and everybody's, screaming your name, but what happens when, you kind of fizzle out?
Yeah.
How do you keep reinventing yourself? How do you keep staying relevant? And some people just don't have the tenacity for that, and I think about what comes into play with people using drugs and just other things that sort of become coping strategies to deal with the stress and the demand and the burnout and all of those things. So I'm glad that you're talking about that. I wish we would have talked about it sooner, for a lot of other artists.
Right.
But I think we need to talk about how do you manage when you're not popping, or
It's a real life issue.
yes,
It's yeah.
and it's competitive in the dance world. I've seen some of those
Oh.
auditions, and not to mention learning the routine so quickly.
Yeah.
So for those that are listening and that might be interested in this, like, how do you even manage that? Because I mean, if you're not somebody's getting those steps, like, because you
Right.
bad, I seen how bad you are. You be getting them quick,
Thank you.
but not everybody can. Not everybody feels like they can do that. So
Right.
how do you do that? Just how do you do that? What do you do to get your mind ready to focus like that?
I did not used to be that way either. Retention is something that comes with consistency. The more you're consistent with putting yourself in spaces where you have no other choice but to learn at a quicker pace than what you're used to, is the moment that you will start growing. The moment that you stop putting yourself in those spaces and just keep learning or processing things at the same level that you're used to, is the moment you're going to always be stagnant at that same level. So starting out, I wasn't the worst at retention, but I definitely, like I said, am not who I am today back then. It's consistency, it's training outside of training. You have to train yourself even after you leave rehearsal. Even with Teddy, our Teddy Riley shows, I leave rehearsal and I go back to the hotel or I go back to my room and I rehearse again with myself. And you have to push yourself. Like we said, 80% mental, 20% physical. It's a mindset thing. You have to talk to yourself when you're in those moments to keep going, to keep pushing and things like that. The more you keep making excuses for yourself on why you're not at a certain level that you feel like you should have been at, is the more you're always going to be stuck in that one level. No one owes you anything. It's up to you to get you to where you want to be.
Y'all hear this? I be trying to tell y'all OGs. You see that's why you got to stay around the young people, right? They keep you on your toes. Nobody owes you anything. As Gorilla sisters out here talking about she owe her. Anyway, that's on another show. That's on another show. But I love that you're saying no one owes you anything, because I think that also makes you work harder.
Absolutely.
Right? When you don't have entitlement and feel like you've arrived, you'll always push yourself. Now, on the flip side of that, though, what happens when it doesn't work out? Right? Because you're doing all of those things and you don't get picked.
Yeah.
You get rejected. How do you stay continuing to work that hard when things don't pan out the way you want?
You're going to always receive more no's than yeses. Always. I've been in so many moments, even recently, where I've been rejected. I've been in so many ups and downs. Maybe it's going to happen. Maybe it is going to happen. Then it doesn't happen. I've been in many moments that has required me to step into a higher version of myself mentally. When it does not work out for me now, the 25-year-old Hillary is saying, when it does not work out for you, understand that rejection is protection. And you never know what it is that you may have been being protected from, or why God has not allowed you to put your light in that particular space. Sometimes your light is too bright for some of the spaces that you are hungry to be in.
Okay, that was a sound bite. Hold up.
Yeah.
Sometimes your light is too bright for the places and spaces that you're trying to get into. Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Did y'all hear that? If y'all feeling what Miss Hillary is dropping, y'all need to be in these chats.
Okay.
Hitting that heart button, thumbs up, high five. You know what? That's so true.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we go so hard for certain things when we get to know that we have to take that pause and take a step back and say, wait a minute, what is this possibly protecting me from?
Exactly.
Maybe the energy's not going to be right. Maybe that contract's not going to be right.
Yes.
Or maybe something bigger and better is coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I've been in so many moments where I've auditioned for tours or I've auditioned for this and that, and it just did not work out how I thought it would have worked out. You can pray all day long, but if God does not want you there, he does not want you there.
And
And
there will be so many things that will just keep on getting in the way of it.
exactly.
But when it's meant for you, even when you don't want it, it just be working out.
You know something, Coach La? One thing my Aunt Nisi taught me. She told me, because I was in a moment like this and I called her for advice, and she told me God works in divine timing. Anything that he does is not in chaos. He doesn't work in confusion. He doesn't work in darkness, evilness. He doesn't work in anxiety. Anything that God has meant for you is all by divine timing. And she also told me you will be preparing for your blessing without you even knowing that you're preparing for your blessing. And that's something that has stuck with me so much, because recently a situation happened where I was preparing for something and I didn't even know that that blessing was right around the corner a few days later, you know. And that's why I always say God is a very intentional God. We serve a very purposeful God. And when he has a special place for you somewhere, he's going to be all up in the midst of it, and you're going to get there without any confusion, any chaos. I'm not saying you can't work hard to get there, but it's not going to internally feel heavy.
I'm going to hold that thought, because I'm going to come back to something about anxiety in a second. But when did you mentally realize, you know what, I'm a professional now? I ain't playing with this. This ain't play.
Right.
I'm taking this like seriously, like this is my career.
The moment I got that first check.
She said, wait a minute, when I secure that bag, that's when I was like, okay, wait a minute.
The moment I got that first direct deposit is when you're a professional now.
Okay, yeah. Okay, wait, I can take this serious. Wait a minute, I can get paid.
Yeah. Because, you know,
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you're employed, when you receive your direct deposit, yes, I'm a professional teacher. Yes, I'm a professional chef. Why? Because you're getting paid to do what you do, you know? Yeah.
I have to agree. I think once it's a hobby, it's a passion, you go, oh, wait a minute, I can get paid for doing what I love. That's how I feel about therapy.
Yes.
I never thought that this would be what I would be doing, because I was managing a bank and I was in financial services, and I've always been an entrepreneur, but I was like, you know, I'm going to be a rich auntie. I'm going to come back to the store, buy the block. Yeah. I never saw myself as being a full-time psychotherapist. And then I was like, wait a minute, I can actually make a living doing what I always got in trouble for, which is to talk.
Right. Absolutely. But you see, they may have seen it as trouble or as a problem, but the whole time, God was preparing you for your anointing the entire time. The
whole time. I'm totally in agreement with that. Yeah. Absolutely 100%. Every report card, she talks too much. She's always helping people. She needs to stay in her seat. And when she finished her work, find something else to do. Come ask me for more work. Stop going and talking to other people.
But
at the bank job.
Because what they may have seen as evil, God sees it as good for you.
Yes, he did.
No one has to understand your anointing or your purpose except you and him.
That's right. I remember my manager at the bank said, I don't pay you to be a therapist or a social worker.
Yeah.
Look at that. And look what I do now. Look what I do now. Ain't that something? Yeah. Now, you mentioned that when God's involved, right, that there's no anxiety. And I wonder about that only because anxiety is like any other feeling. And sometimes I think it also is a good thing, and it channels you.
Yeah.
Right? It's not necessarily a bad thing, right, to feel a little anxious. And I get a little anxious.
Me too.
But not to the point I was going to ask you. So do you get a little nervous? Or are you at the point now that, you know, you smooth breathing all the time? Because I'm not.
Oh, no, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm impatient. I am working on that, and the good Lord above is helping me. I know he's sick of me, but we're working on not being impatient. I just think sometimes I'm so excited for something that I feel like is on its way to me that I'll be like, oh, okay, Is it going to happen now? I start checking my phone. I start checking emails 20 times a day. You know, I ain't got no business checking emails 20 times a day. You know, I'm not saying that I never get anxious, but anxious to the point where it's draining you.
Right.
And anxious to the point where it's stripping the joy from you. You know, it's a difference. It's different anxiety. You know, you have the anxiety that excites you, and it's from excitement. The source is excitement. And then you also have the anxiety that the source channels depression. It channels down spirals. You know?
Yep. Worry.
Worry.
You know, in fear.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's different when you're just like, I want to do a good job, right? Because there's performance anxiety. One of the, I don't know if you know this, but one of the number one anxiety provoking things is public speaking.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are very afraid to get in front of an audience and perform or talk, right? And so a lot of people who perform, like you and I, have anxiety and nobody knows that we do. They think that we don't have it, but we do, right?
Yeah.
But it's because we want to do a good job.
Absolutely.
It doesn't stop us from doing it.
Yeah.
Other people have what they would have is more like a debilitating anxiety, and it prevents them from trying.
Yeah.
Ours propels us. It doesn't stop us, but we still get the feeling, right? And so I think that's the big difference. Is a lot of people, they will allow anxiety to be like, well, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to have that feeling.
Yeah.
We just dance through it.
Yeah. No, I go towards it. I go towards I go towards the fear. I don't run from the fear because it ain't nothing but another challenge. It's either you're gonna face it head on and overcome it, because what's the best thing that can happen? Not what's the worst thing that can happen. What's the best thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is you turning around and not showing up for yourself, or believing yourself and believing the source that has given you that talent, that gift, that power in the first place, which is God above. That's the worst thing you can do, is turning around and losing your faith.
So talk to me about some of the early sacrifices and spaces where you had to trust yourself. When you think back to 18-year-old Hilly Marie,
right?
What are some of the things that you had to trust yourself on as you look back to get where you are now?
I think, if I'm being completely honest, I started teaching my classes in the local Detroit area. I started on my college campus of Eastern Michigan University. And then I, eventually moved back home with my parents. And I started teaching locally in Detroit. When I first hosted my first class here, it was only $5 to attend. And no one knew me, but I advertised so well that I had 60 people show up.
Wait a minute, how many?
60.
60? 60?
I will send you the clip. I should have sent you the clip.
No, but I just want to make sure I heard you. 60.
60, yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. And I taught to Beyonce, Naughty Girl. That was my first ever Detroit public class. And it had 60 people in there for $5. And, everyone afterwards came up to me asking me, are you going to teach again? Are you going to do another one? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I was really just trying it out. I didn't expect this, because you never go into things like, especially when something is brand new to you, you never look at it as like, oh yeah, I'm going to have 60 people here today. I was lucky enough to even have 5. I was just grateful. But that just goes to show, when it's in you, it's in you.
Mm-hmm.
Not on you, it's in you. So I think the pressure to keep going and the pressure to always keep going, right? But keep elevating as you're going. I never wanted to stay the same. Even like when I create my routines, I always try to outdo my last routine. Always. I think that is an example of that.
Yeah. Well, you guys are tuned into Conversations with Coach La La La. Yes, right here on the Urban Heat. Boston has Black radio, and we are on iHeartRadio. We're actually Boston's only Black-owned radio station.
Come on. Happy Black History Month.
And Happy Black History Month for everybody, although we celebrate 365 days a year. And we have Miss Hillary Marie, professional dancer, just talking to us about her journey. So we talk about therapy on the show. You know, I'm a psychotherapist, so I often want to ask people, you know, um, what does therapy mean to them? Now, some people go to therapy, some people don't. Some people find different ways to minister to themselves. But in terms of for you, what does therapy mean to you?
Therapy. Therapy, I think more skinfolk, kinfolks. I think we need to tap more into therapy. I think growing up, we were always taught that if you go to a therapist, you're crazy. It's something wrong with you. But in all reality, people just need someone to talk to.
Mhm.
People just need someone to talk to. Not only that, but people need advice from someone who does not know them. You know what I'm saying? And so I think therapy, as I've gotten older to understand what it really is, um, it has, enlightened me. As far as what I see it doing for my loved ones who, go to therapists, or what I see it doing for strangers who talk about their therapy sessions with their therapist and how amazing they feel afterwards. So I think it's a blessing, and it's a blessing to even have the gift of curing someone by just being a listening ear. So shout out to you, Coach La,
Well,
for
thank you.
yes, course.
And you know, one of the things that I've learned is one of the quickest ways for someone to feel loved is to listen to them.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people are really craving conversation
Yeah.
that is beyond the surface, and they're craving to be understood, and so often that's really what a therapist provides, because we don't know you,
Yeah.
and you can't say, well, you was talking to my mama,
Right.
or my husband must have told you that, or oh, somebody told you my business, so that's why you got this opinion of me. Everything that you bring to therapy is what you bring, right?
Absolutely.
And we develop the questions and the support around what your goals are. So it's really
All
kind of hard to kind of finagle bagel on your therapist, if you got a therapist is one that's locked in with you and
yes.
it's a good fit for you. They're gonna call you out and they're gonna
All
help you grow. And
accountability.
I always compare it to a personal trainer,
Yes.
right? If you have a personal trainer, you want that trainer to challenge you, but oftentimes you don't really like them that much.
Mm-hmm.
Or a teacher, right? Some of your best teachers, you couldn't stand them,
Yeah.
but they actually were the ones that really taught you something. So I don't really try to make sure that my clients like me, but I am effective, right?
Absolutely.
My goal is to help you reach your goals. So I have a quote. Well, it's not really a quote; it's more of a statement. So
Yes.
research shows that self-belief and self-efficacy is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success, right? And confidence is a learned behavior; it's not an innate talent. So
Absolutely.
often, right, we think people are born this way. And I think that's also a misconception, that you
It,
can't get better, or that you can't develop confidence, you can't develop leadership skills. And that's just not true. You
yeah.
just got to make a decision and start to actually learn and put yourself in positions to learn the skills to get better in that area. That's all you got to do. There's
Mhm.
really nothing you cannot do.
Yeah, to piggyback off what you said about born with confidence, I like to believe that we are born with it in a sense, right? We just have to find it.
Mm.
Some people never really get to the point of finding their true selves to even reach a certain level of confidence. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mhm.
like, in order, because I look back on when I was growing up and when I was cheering, I nowhere, well, I'm nowhere near, you know, how to say it. Back then, I wasn't confident how I am now.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, I was also going through the trial and errors of learning myself, of growing up, the growing pains, right? I was
Right.
going through a lot of transitional ages, 16, 18, 21, and those were all mental changes as well. You know, so the moment that you start to understand that all of our lights are unique, all of our lights are wonderfully made individually. Once you start to understand that there is nobody else like you in this world, it's the moment that you will start tapping into your true power. Especially as women, I feel like sometimes we get in predicaments, whether that's a job or with a person, that makes us feel powerless. And you have to understand that power is a source from within, just how confidence is a source from within. So some people just never reach that level of even knowing themselves or even truly loving themselves in order to be like, I'm confident and I'm going to walk in my truth. I'm going to walk in my power. Some people never, and it's sad to say, but they never reach that level. And if they do, it takes them years to get there. And that's okay too, as long as you get there.
Yeah, but what you're speaking to is the nature versus nurture. Like,
Yeah.
The idea when we say, someone is shy,
Yeah.
someone gives you that language, right? Versus if someone said, you know what, you can do it. It just takes you a little bit longer to get the courage to do it, but you've
Right.
done it before. Versus giving you the language that you're shy, and
Yeah.
you run with that all your life. That I'm a shy person until
Yeah.
somebody says, you know what, you're not shy. Let me show you why you're not. You meet
Exactly.
that teacher, you meet that coach that pushes you,
Mhm.
and you all of a sudden you're like, people like, I don't even recognize you anymore. You're so different,
Yeah.
So I do believe that there are elements of your God-given gifts,
Absolutely.
right, that you have to tap into.
Yes.
And at the same token, I think that your environment and what you get exposed to
Yeah.
really helps develop you, right? And helps bring
Definitely.
that out of, like, bring it
Definitely.
out
More.
of you.
Mhm.
But a lot of people tend to think, oh, well, you must have just been born like that.
Right.
You were always like that. You came out the womb like that. And it's like, yes and no. You
Yes.
got it.
Right.
You got it in you too, right?
Yeah.
It's just that
You just
I
gotta
took
find
risks.
it.
Right. I took risks. I had certain opportunities.
Yeah.
I was put in certain places.
I had the audacity.
The audacity, right? And I also think embracing failure. There's some people that get encouraged to make mistakes and it's okay. And then there's other people that they make a mistake and they get so much criticism. They don't want to ever make a mistake again because the criticism of it was so heavy.
Yeah.
Where you got to get past that. And I think that's the biggest thing that stops people from trying is that first teacher that, sent you to the board and you made a mistake and they just tore you to pieces versus the teacher that said, it's okay, we all make mistakes. Let me show you how to do it. And made sure the class didn't laugh at you, right?
Yeah.
Or those things are so etched in people's mind. They're like, oh no, I ain't never going up to the board again. I remember too, like I've always had issues with pronunciation. And I, as in this big old age, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start reading out loud more. And if I mess up a word, I'm gonna Google it. But that started way back in first grade, with the A-E-I-O-U, right? It's like it started way back then. So it's just like being able to be okay with making mistakes, yeah. So talk to me about what's next. When you think about moving forward, right? And if you weren't a dancer, you were not a professional dancer, what would you have been doing?
Well, I was actually in school for nursing. So
okay.
I
wasn't expecting that.
Right? No one ever expects that from me.
No.
But
I thought you was going to say you was a teacher or something, but I didn't expect that. Okay.
My mom's dream, how she would have loved for me to be a teacher. Happy birthday,
Mom. You are a teacher though.
Oh yes.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yes, happy birthday, Mommy. Yes, today is her birthday. But yeah, she is a teacher, so she would have loved for me to be a teacher. But I always tell her I am a teacher. I'm just a teacher of adults.
Yeah, you are a teacher though.
Yeah,
I see you out there teaching girls. 60 people
thank
coming
you.
to see you teach them something.
Yeah, thank you. I think, nursing, I I just drew really close to it. I like taking care of people. I'm a very helpful person. I'm a very nurturing person. I have a nurturing spirit. Um, I wanted to be in like labor and delivery or pediatrics. So I wanted to really, womanhood, all that good stuff with the babies and stuff. Um, and then dance took over. So
Mhm.
here we are. But I do honestly eventually want to go back to school because I am a firm believer that it's never too late. And I just think, having something else is always good, you know?
Mhm.
So that, and then honestly, for the future, I think I want to travel more out the country and teach in a lot of other countries. I recently just taught in Italy, in Milan, Italy, which was so amazing. I had about 40 beautiful, beautiful women in the class, which I did not expect that either. Um, that was my first time going out there. So that was incredible to me. A very, very humbling moment. It made me cry. Um, and then I've also taught in London, England last year. So I have two countries under my belt, but I'm ready for more. Whatever God leads me to, I'm ready to experience that more. I want more stages. Obviously, I love to perform. So I just, yeah, you get a certain feeling while being on stage that just gives you a certain high, a good high. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
So I
Well,
think I'm
you about to segue me on in there, so let me just go on and throw it
go
on up
ahead.
there.
Come on, Coach
Come
Lai.
on,
Yeah.
because you already going in there. So before I even ask this next question, so
Yes.
as we ask about what you want to do next, right?
Yes.
Bet on self.
Yes.
Um, those who listen to the show every week already know this, but these are those moments where you really say, you know what? If not now, then when? If not me, then who? And
Mm-hmm.
despite what people have said I could do or what
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do, this is what I'm going to do. I'm in the driver's seat of this, and I'm about to write I'm writing my story. This is my narrative. I'm in control.
That's my
And
life.
yes, it has been,
Yeah.
and that's why I was so excited on talking to you at 25, because sometimes people wait till they get the big old age that I'm at to start to bet on themselves versus starting when they were younger
Right.
because they
Right.
listened to other people tell them what they could or couldn't do. And
Right.
often that's other folks projecting onto you their fears.
Yeah.
Um, so when you think about bet on self,
Mm-hmm.
what is a bet on self moment, past, present, future, that you want to share? And then I have this question about who do you want to work with that you haven't worked with that's like on
Wish
your
list.
your wish list.
Yeah. I'm sorry. My phone keeps ringing. I want to say a moment that for me, I had to bet on myself, child.
Child, they like, okay, where you
Child. Hold on. A moment that I had to bet on myself when I was auditioning for Snoop Dogg. So this is crazy. One of my close dance friends, her name is Tiara. She is from Chicago, but she moved to Los Angeles. She's another dancer and choreographer and has been killing the game ever since. But she sent me the link to the audition, and it was a virtual audition. So you had to submit a video of you, dancing to the requirements that they were asking you for. And I remember being like, I don't know, virtual thousands of girls, like, whoo, and so I submitted the video because I'm like, why not? Why not?
Mhm.
Because, like I said earlier, the worst thing that can happen is if you don't do it.
Right. You'll
So
always miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
don't take.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So I was like, let me just submit the video. I submitted the video. The choreographer reached out to me. Her name is Nicole DePole. She reached out to me and she's like, I like your video. And she's like, I've seen your work on Instagram, but for some reason, the energy on Instagram versus the energy on the video, they do not mesh. They're two different people. And it was because I was so darn on nervous about auditioning that I'm scaring myself out of my own blessing. So she gave me another chance. And she was like, I'm going to have you resubmit a video. Go in the studio again. Do it again. Do something completely different. And then resend it. And I did just that because I felt like, how often do you get another chance at things like that? And I got booked. She booked me. And I was able to perform 2 shows with Snoop, who is the absolute sweetest, one of the most sweetest artists I've ever worked with. I did a Milwaukee concert with him. Padawan Amplified, I believe it was called. It was outside of summertime. It was so nice. And then I also did my first ever international show with him in Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada, for his Cali to Canada tour. So, you know, that was a moment that really told me, like, if you don't bet on your own self, nobody else will. Like, you all you got. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to moments like that, because it's all mental. It's all up here, you know? So I think that was such a moment that I always remember and I always reflect on, because for one, Snoop is a humongous star. He's been around for a long time. He's currently in Milan at the Olympics, you know.
Doing his thing. He's just having him a good old time.
Shout out to Uncle Snoop. He adopted me as his niecey poo, so shout out to Uncle Snoop. I think, you know, that is a moment that I will always look back on. You know, fear does not live in the same place as faith. Fear and faith do not go hand in hand. You can't be fearful and walk around here talking about live by faith and not by sight. But yeah,
I be talking to y'all Christians all the time. I say y'all go to church every week, and
yeah,
some of y'all are the most sad, most anxious, most afraid people that I know. Like, if you got faith, you gotta really lean into your faith.
Yes.
And be about that life. And
there can't.
I know it's easier said than done because we're human at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But pray on that. I always ask people, what do you pray for?
Yes.
Pray for that.
I was in church this morning virtually, and we had a guest pastor, and he was from Africa, and he said, you cannot grow a harvest where you have not planted a seed. And I said,
that a word?
Oof.
Ain't that a word?
Yes, you cannot have a harvest where you have not planted a seed. And I compare that to fear and faith. You cannot be fearful and then expect all these miraculous things to happen. You know, it does not work like that.
Woo! Well, shout out to everybody that's tuned in. We got people tuned in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and I just see all y'all on Instagram. Hey, y'all!
My
appreciate
sister,
y'all tuning in. Yeah, we got a couple of people. I'm about to throw their comments back up here.
Yay.
To teach me how to jerk.
Okay.
All right now. We got Carly.
Yes, that's my sister.
She said she witnessed it. Yes, sister.
Let me tell you.
And Bella Ray. Hi, Bella Ray. Yes. Thank you for joining. She said you are dropping jewels, girl.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So go ahead, tell me about your sister.
She has been with me through thick and thin. Before this journey even started. But the amount of strength she has giving me to keep going. This is my big sister, by the way.
Shout out to my sister who's on here too, and my brother.
Yes.
Take on photography and me and Shay Styles journey. What's up, y'all?
Yes, my sister Carly, she means the world to me. She's literally everything. I always tell her, like, without you, I don't know how I would have survived some of the things that, you know, young girls go through in college with boys and all that, you know, shenanigans. And that is such a, you know, trying period in our lives that we can lose self-worth. We forget who we are, you know. And my sister really, really helped me build my confidence. She helped me stay focused. She reminded me of who I am in my light, in my gift. And she has also reminded me of how to just keep walking in my power and to never let anyone take advantage of you. Never let anyone think they can overwalk you, you know? And one thing about my sister, she don't play about her little sister. So I love my sister so much. I love her so much. And I cannot wait to give her the world because she has helped me through so much. So shout out to her.
I love it. I love it. I'm
I'm
feeling
blushing.
all
I
the
love my
love.
sister.
Yes, I love my sister too. Shout out to my sister Renisha and my sister Shamina. I
Yes.
love you guys dearly. We do our sister calls on
Aw.
what do you call it, FaceTime, and
Yes.
they are the best. I swear we should have a reality show for how them FaceTime calls. But anyway, um,
Yes.
listen, we got one more segment to go, but the station ID is gonna have to come on at the top of the hour, so we're gonna take a pause for the cause when that occurs. I think I got a few minutes before that's gonna happen. So let's go ahead and talk about one last thing.
Yes.
This is our last segment, and I like to call it Coach's Corner.
Okay.
You know, when you think about boxing and you think about any sport, I would say there's a coach,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of people think, oh, because you reach a certain level, that you know you don't need coaches anymore. Actually, you always need support. Be that a spiritual coach, be that a therapist, be that a life coach. So I like to always end the show with us giving nuggets, right? Wrapping it up in a nice little bowl to like present as a present to the listeners on what we want them to take away from this conversation. So when you think about that, what we talked about so far, and I didn't really say this earlier, but this is season 9 for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay.
3 years, season 9.
Wow.
And this is all about the year of evolution,
Yes.
evolving, because I turned 50 this year. Believe it or
Congratulations.
not. I know, I'm so excited.
Yes.
So it's all about healing, elevation, and evolving, right? And so I've been purposely picking guests that will showcase those different pieces, right? And what I want to leave the world. If I was to die tomorrow, right, and this was my last episode, this is my legacy. These are little footprints of what I stood for. You know, when my son or my nephews come and want to figure out, well, what did my auntie think? How did she sound? I'm leaving that. You know, I'm leaving this show as a documentary, if you say, my own memoir, real time. So, what do we want the people to walk away? You think about what milestones. What do you want them to know? Ooh. Yeah, take a minute, think about it. You know,
I think I would want people to understand that everything that glitter isn't gold.
Ooh.
Understand that you do not need validation from such a dark and corrupted world. You were validated the moment that you were placed in the womb of your mother. You were validated by the higher power at that very exact moment. Your anointing was always inside of you. You just had to go through the loops and the trial and errors to really realize just how bright your light shines. I want people to always understand that anything worth having does not come easy. And understand that the moment that you let go of the spirit of, what's the word? The spirit of feeling like someone owes you something. The spirit of feeling like someone needed to do this for you, needed to do that for you.
Hold up.
It's the moment. Hey.
Shout out to Mark Harris. That is the voice of the Urban Heat. He is currently get well. He's in the hospital. Get well, Mark. We love
Get
you.
well, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Mark Harris. So the spirit of
the spirit of just having the audacity to feel like someone owes you something
Entitlement.
It's just entitlement. Thank you.
Mhm.
The spirit of entitlement, the moment that you let that go is the moment that things will start to flow to you just a little bit healthier. And I mean that by create your own table. Create your own table. I went through that moment of having people, not knowing who I am, to now I'm known in London. Now I'm known in Italy. I'm not signed to a dance agency. I'm not signed to anything, and one day, if that comes, that comes. But for right now and forever and always, God is my agent, and He's been my agent, and He's been carrying me higher and higher. And I think that's because I've always kept my eyes fixed on my purpose. I never wanted to do what he was doing, she was doing, or to be exactly like them, I should say. Because if we are always hungry to be like the next person, no one is going to want whatever it is that you're selling because they already got it. We already have a Beyonce. We already had a Michael. You know what I'm saying? Like, be you and find out who you are individually. And I think just spread love, spread peace, move with those things, and you'll be just fine.
Listen, well said.
Thank you.
I appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate your vulnerability and just, bringing your full self to this conversation. I always offer a power pivot to the audience and to the listeners,
I
right?
love that. Yeah.
Confidence is built through repeated exposure, which Miss Hillary Marie already talked about that. It's not about perfection or avoidance.
Never.
Right. That is what you want to. That will strength. It will strengthen you to move forward. Right. Every time you take a risk, you're strengthening you're sharpening that muscle. Right. You're building that confidence muscle.
Absolutely.
Action. Right. It's all about action. And so I really want people to think about that. And last but not least, right, confidence doesn't come from being fearless, right? It comes from showing up while afraid and surviving it.
Yeah.
I think that we think that life is without fear, but at the end of the day, it's okay to be afraid.
Absolutely.
Right? All that means that either it's something that you really, really want really bad,
yeah,
or it's something that you need a little bit more courage for. But it doesn't mean it isn't impossible. It's not impossible. It's just sometimes we want something so bad. It's just the idea of not getting it that makes us scared. Like, what if I don't get it? What if I don't get it? Right? And so I don't even want to put myself in a position not to get it. So I'm just not going to try.
Yeah.
But I challenge you guys really this week. Pick one thing, one thing that you've been wanting to do for a really long time, and take one step forward to make it happen. Right? And I swear you'll be okay.
Absolutely.
You'll be okay. I remember the first time I did spoken word and they made me go first. And I was like, I got to open the show. And I was so scared when I was done. I literally ran off the stage. I thought my heart was going to pop out of my throat. But I had done a great job. But I was so nervous the whole time. I don't get that nervous anymore. But I was so nervous to the point that I had to run and go to the bathroom. So
that's me too. The nervous tinkle, yeah.
I had to go. So, your mantra, if you can see it mentally, then you can believe it physically. And I think that's a great place to.
If you can see it mentally, you can achieve it physically.
I put believe it because of my bet on self.
Oh, yes, queen. Yes.
Because right at the end of the day, you gotta believe, right? Which is part of the faith.
Yes.
And part of the manifestation.
Absolutely.
Which goes back to mentally, right? I think all of it's connected. So, as I tell you guys every week, your legacy is not built in your patterns, not in your promises. Legacy is built in what you leave for. It's not built in what you leave for people. It's built in what you leave in them. So, thank you, Miss Hillary Marie.
Thank you, Coach La.
I appreciate it this time.
Yes, this was amazing. Thank you to all the viewers and everybody that's watching and commenting. They were going pretty quickly, but
yes, they're going fast.
I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Could I give a special shout out?
Yeah, go ahead. You give your shout. I'm gonna try to grab some of these people off Instagram while you give your shout outs. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Shout out to my parents, my mom and dad. They are listening in their bedroom on the radio, so on their Alexa.
Hey, parents.
Right. So I appreciate you guys. Shout out to my sister-in-law, and my brother Teddy, my sister-in-law Shayla. Thank you to all my family that's tuning in, all my cousins, my cousin Christian, and just all my friends and supporters that have been supporting me for such a long time. We're nothing without, a good tribe surrounding us. We all need somebody. And if you don't think you need somebody, think again. But we all need somebody. So I just appreciate my tribe. I have a small tribe, but we're very mighty. So I appreciate y'all. And shout out to all my angels in heaven. And thank you, Coach, once again.
I appreciate you saying that, because people think when I say bet on self that means that you're doing things in silo or selfishness.
Right.
But all I'm saying is believe in you.
Yes.
Believe in you. And not that you don't need support, but sometimes the belief in yourself also is being able to ask for help. That I want to do this thing. I'm trying to do this thing. And being able to ask for support, right? So again, I want to say thank you to everybody. Black Light Crystal, I see you on the check-in. Blackbird, I see you on the check-in. I see SMC Cosmetics on the check-in. Kiki, that's what's up, Kiki. How y'all doing? Oh my goodness, it's so many people on here. I won't even be able to get to everybody, but Jay, Jeff, Kofi, thank you for checking in. My auntie Cassandra's on here. What's up, Blair?
Hey,
auntie. So thank you everybody on Instagram. And when I get ready to reshare this, because I know people was watching Super Bowl and it's a Sunday night, this will be replayed, so you guys can see the replay. It will be up on Instagram and Facebook. So share the live and let somebody else get some of this virtual couch. And then I will see you guys next week for another conversation with another special guest.
Yeah.
And y'all make sure y'all bet on yourself this week.
Amen. Till
next time, have a happy week and good night. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow to the Morning Cafe. And thank you, Miss Hillary Marie.
Thank you. Bye.
I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Nivea, Smokehouse, it's the urban heat. Shout out to Coach Lloyd. Coach, it's time to listen.